Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Today we will be going through yet again another update's worth of new cars, races, and other bits and pieces. So without further ado, let's start talking about the first car of the day, which is the Chevrolet Corvette C1. A very old car, but it looks pretty stylish. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes around a racetrack. So yeah, let's get straight into it and see how this goes. We are going to be doing the American Sunday Cup 600 event that was added at Road Atlanta. So yeah, this will be interesting. I have once again, as always, put some upgrades on the car. Well, not I won't say as always, but that was the whole thing last time. But yeah, put some upgrades on the car to make it something a little bit better than a car from the 1950s. And we'll see how it goes, because we do have some modern technology to race against. So anyway, into the first corner, already gaining a little bit of time as we make our way up one position into 9th position. 10 cars in the race. Of course, as always in Gran Turismo, we start right down the back and we need to work our way through. So pretty short race here, 3 laps to do. Of course, it is just a Sunday Cup race, so it's not going to be anything spectacular, but anyway, working our way through the S section, now up the hill towards the couple of right-handers up this way, and we'll see how this goes. Let's see if we can make this move down the inside. We're just about to get through, move ourselves up into 7th position, so decent enough progress on this first lap as we slot in behind Captain Strappy here, and we'll see if we can make the move to the right hand side. And now it's a drag race along the straight. We just barely have the speed to make that move in a straight line, but we do have it nonetheless. And now we head over the little crest down towards the chicane, and we'll make the move to the outside once again, make that move up into the top 5 now. So good progress on the first lap. We might be able to get one more as we catch up to another old Corvette, nowhere near as old as our own, and we're able to get through there nicely and move ourselves up into 4th position. Last to 4th in the first lap. The top 3 are sprinting away. We continue on then with the off-board camera for the next part of this race. 3 cars left in front of us. We have a Challenger as well as a Viper and the Mustang Boss. So a bit of variance in the age of the cars ahead of us, but we still have the oldest car in the race by far, along with the other C1 Corvette that we saw back at the start. But to talk about this car a little bit in terms of how it drives, not great. In terms of as being a sort of I don't know what the word is, a reliable racing car. It's a bit of a handful, but it is fun to drive for that. So I guess it just depends on how you define a good car. If it's fun to drive, or whether it does exactly what you want it to. But regardless, it was actually very difficult to complete this race. Nowhere near as hard as the rally race from last time, and as always I probably could have just put more upgrades on the car, etc. But yeah, this race did prove quite a challenge with my current arrangements of upgrades. But anyway, we've steadily made our way up to the back of the Challenger while I've been blabbering on about all that, and we'll see if we can make that move to the inside of the final corner there, and we're able to get through nicely up into the podium places. Now next up we have the Dodge Viper running in 2nd position, and yeah, to keep up with these sorts of cars, of course this will need upgrades, but once you put those upgrades on, because it's got really nothing in the way of aero and downforce, it does make it a bit of a handful. At least the Dodge Viper has something, even if it's not much, as we drift a little bit wide there and get a little bit wobbly up the hill, but regardless, we're able to keep things pointing in the right direction, and now we head up towards the next couple of right-handers along the straight over the crest, and we'll see if we can make a move for the lead sometime soon. We're a little way back at the moment, so we will need to make sure we get all of this section right. A little bit wide there, so that might cost us a small amount of time, but we are closing in to the Mustang boss in the race lead as we head along this enormous back straight. It's quite insane how long this straight is when you're not in something like a super formula car that can just zoom from one end to the other. In old cars like this that need to sort of build up the acceleration over a longer time. Yeah, it takes a long time to get from one end to the other. But anyway, we're on the back of the Mustang now with only one corner to go in this race. We're going to go for the move down the inside. We'll send it in late up over the inside curb, and we managed to just sneak ahead before the finish line and grab the race win. You can see how borderline that was in a race with fairly minimal mistakes. So yeah, that was a pretty tough one, but enjoyable nonetheless. So yeah, that is that race completed. On to a menu book actually after that, and today's menu book will be, let's do this one, K-Cars. Only worth a 4-star roulette ticket. Understandable, these cars are not particularly expensive or hard to come by, but a cool collection nonetheless. So yeah, I love K-Cars. They are very fun little things to drive. So there we have it, collection K-Cars completed. And a 4-star roulette ticket for our troubles. Now let's see what we can learn about these cars. These are shining examples of Japan's uniquely lightweight K-car category, a splendid collection. You've got the Suzuki Cappuccino, a genuine FR sports car, which, along with the distinctive Honda Beat and Mazda AZ1, debuted in the 1990s. Combining their initials, these three cars were affectionately called the ABC Trio. The Daihatsu Copen from the 2000s is a luxurious two-seater with an electric convertible roof. And the midship Honda S660 is a modern remake of the Beat that is pure sports car. With their restricted dimensions and engine capacity, these three belong to Japan's smallest car category, the K-car. In addition to their distinctive size, they are beloved for their affordable price tag and robust performance. Indeed, the K-car played a major role in fostering Japan's popular car culture. The K-car class originated in 1949, following the end of World War II. While engine sizes were initially limited to 100cc and 150cc, a 360cc limit was introduced in the 1950s. Enticing Japanese manufacturers to focus their efforts on building affordable K-cars for the masses. Therefore, the 1950s marked the dawn of a new era, the era of individual car ownership. Debuting in 1955, the Suzuki Suzu Light took the honor of being Japan's first mass-produced K-car. And 3 years later, in 1958, the unforgettable Subaru 360 made its bold appearance. An indispensable symbol of Japan's economic prosperity, the K-car quickly became a perennial bestseller. What it lacked in size, it more than made up for in tech, design, and innovation. Besides, its size is now one of its unmistakable charms, something bigger, faster, and pricier cars can't match. And there we have it, all about K-cars. Awesome little things, like little chihuahuas of the car world. But anyway, let's see what we get from this roulette ticket. See if we happen to get rich from this one. The big mill is there, but we're not going to get it. We're going to get 30k for this one. So average, I suppose, maybe slightly above. But anyway, we will now move on to the next car that was added in this update. And next we will be driving this absolute beast, the Maserati MC20. A very cool car, and I mean, it's a Maserati, so we can expect it is going to be very, very quick. Don't really see a lot of Maseratis in Gran Turismo and other racing games. They're usually there, but there's not a wide variety of them, I mean. So it's good to get another Maserati on the list as we head to Dragon Trail. This is, I believe, the Gardens layout of the circuit, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. The layout I am more familiar with, definitely, as we get racing here. And yeah, we'll see how things go as we work our way through the opening sector, and a bit of contact, but no harm done. A big field in this one. We have a lot of cars to overtake, so let's get cracking. Another move to the outside as we head into the hairpin. Big braking zone here, especially in hypercars that do not have fantastic brake performance. So it's going to be a pretty tough race. This car's already wheel spinning, and it looks like there's a little bit of weather on the radar as well. So there's a little bit to monitor around this track at the moment. But anyway, as we continue to slip inside our way through the first lap and try and deal with the tyres constantly squealing, we'll see if we can get a good run along the next straight. Looks like we're not particularly strong in the corners, so we're going to have to hope that the straight line speed is enough to get us through as we move ourselves up another position into P13. So a few overtakes on the first lap, and it's a fairly long race, so we might have time, but we will need to pick up the pace. And as we continue on, we do catch up to a couple of cars here in a big group actually. We get past the Ford GT. We've got a Veyron in front of us now as we try and jink to the inside, but that thing has got stupid straight line speed, but it's probably one car that we are faster than in the corners, but we get through nonetheless and move ourselves up another couple of positions into the top 10 now, as we're closing into the next car already. So yeah, it seems like the pace is good enough. We just need to try and keep it together in this fairly sketchy car. Speaking of sketchy, that overtake was a little borderline, but we get it. We managed to get through and move ourselves up into 9th position as we try and flow it nicely through this quadruple apex right-hander and try and get a nice fast run onto the straight. And this will be another position for us. That's 8 positions. We had to well, that's not quite actually. We made an absolute mess of that, but we'll get down the inside into the final double left-hander and move ourselves up finally into 8th position. Continuing on again then, we make another overtake quite easily there along the run towards the hairpin and move ourselves up into 7th. So progress is coming quick enough. I'm just hoping that there's no one escaping up the road towards the front of the field. If everyone is sort of evenly spread as they have been so far, then we might still have a chance in this one. So yeah, it's proving to be a rather, I don't know, a bit of a frustrating car to drive, I would say, just because it doesn't have that nice turn-in ability. It just doesn't have that cornering grip and turning radius, I suppose. So yeah, it's a little bit awkward to drive in that way, but it's plenty fast enough in a straight line. Have a look at this as we make the move, we have a look for the move down the inside. Can't quite get through. We'll have to wait for the main straight as we have an awful exit there. I don't know what I was doing, but hopefully the straight line speed will be enough to see us through and grab this position on the straight. We move ourselves up into P6. We continue on then to the straight as we head under these couple of tunnels towards the final couple of corners. Big dive down the inside, and that's another 2 places for us. A little bit slow through the final 2 corners though, and we don't get a great run onto the straight. Moving on, we have a side-by-side battle in front of us, and well, they weren't exactly doing each other any favours running side by side through that little triple chicane section. We move ourselves up into 2nd position. It does take us a while to catch the leader, despite them not being too far ahead when we moved up into 2nd place, but we'll take the lead at the start of the final lap as the track's just starting to get a little bit greasy with some moisture in the air, but we'll manage to survive, and we'll come to the finish line to take the victory here at Dragon Trail Gardens in the Hypercar Parade race, driving the new Maserati MC20. Not my favourite car that I've ever driven, but I'm not really one for, you know, the sportier hypercars and supercars, etc. I much prefer driving K cars. So, on to the next menu book, and it's only fitting we do the Maserati menu book after that race. So, oh, this didn't come up last time. Congratulations, you've got all 3 cars. This completes your Maserati collection, and once you've collected your present, I've got some stories to tell you about these cars. And these cars being rather expensive ones, of course. Oh, hang on. Collection Maserati completed. Means we get a 6-star roulette ticket. So, let's see what we can learn about these cars. Maserati's story begins over a century ago in the Italian city of Bologna. Oh, like Bolognese. In 1914, Alfieri Ettore and Ernesto Maserati decided to found an automotive garage. Thanks to Alfieri's racing talent, the family-run garage quickly grew into a profitable business. A collaborator on Isotta Fraschini sports cars, Maserati displayed the Trident for the first time in the mid-1920s. This was on the Tipo 26. Although Maserati machines were exceptionally fast, Grand Prix racing was becoming more and more expensive. In need of financial support, the family-run business was sold to the Modena industrialist Adolfo Orsi in 1937. Relocated to Modena, Maserati entered a golden age in the post-war racing scene of the 1950s. During this time, Juan Manuel Fangio, Sterling Moss, and other racing greats piloted Maserati F1 machines to countless Grand Prix victories. Debuting in 1953, at the height of this golden age, was the A6 GCS/53 Spider. The legendary car raced for the Maserati Works team in the 1954 season. In the 1960s, Maserati shifted gears, so to speak, from race cars to road cars. Unveiled in '72, the mid-engined 2+2 sports car drove the company's business for the next 12 years. In the 1990s, Maserati was acquired by Fiat, which turned management over to Ferrari. This MC20, released in 2020, is a dreamlike supercar that is worthy of the Maserati name. It is the first Maserati car in a long while to run on an engine entirely developed in-house. A dream come true, it uses a bit of F1 tech called a pre-chamber to improve efficiency. Clearly, the passion and creativity of the Maserati brothers is alive and well in the 21st century. I'm going to guess Maserati stole that bit of F1 tech from Ferrari because Maserati haven't been in Formula 1 for many a decade. Anyway, let's go and check out this shiny 6-star roulette ticket and we'll see what we get for our prize. We don't even have the big mill as an option for this one, but we do get a shiny new car and it looks pretty fancy. It is the Peugeot VGT, a car worth $1 million, so I guess that kind of works out. But this car, I remember when this was added in Gran Turismo 6, no one liked it. It was horrible. It just didn't turn. A lot like the Maserati we were just driving, to be honest, and a lot like the next car we're going to drive, the Lamborghini VGT. We have another hypercar parade race for some reason, so we're going to do that, and I wasn't going to drive the Maserati again, so I decided to take this thing for a drive and see how this goes. It should suit the Red Bull Ring because the Red Bull Ring has 3 very lengthy straights, which is what this car absolutely loves. So anyway, a couple of overtakes down the inside into turn 2, and we're up a couple of spots already into 14th position. 16 cars in this race and a bit of time to get all these overtakes done. Along the next straight, zooming along up into the top 12 now. As we continue on then, we catch up to the next little bundle of cars as we make our way up towards turn 3 once more, and we're a bit skittish into the braking zone there, but we'll keep things pointing forwards and try and get a nice run on the X. It got a little bit held up by the Bugatti there, and now we get a nice run along the straight, power down, and we'll be able to get through, move ourselves up all the way into 8th position as we're going to try for the move around the outside to take P7. We're not quite going to make it though, and we'll have to just slot in behind once more, but along this next straighter section we'll be able to make that move and take 7th place as we head into the next couple of left-handers. This car really struggles here as we drifted out quite wide early on the exit there, but we managed to keep it on track nonetheless. Now through the next left-hander into the final sector. Now we should be able to get some power down along this straight, and we should be able to make the move down the inside of the Ford GT and move ourselves up one more position into the top 6 now as we drift a little bit wide on the exit, but along this next straight we should be able to get these next 2 positions pretty easily here, and we do just that and move ourselves up into P4 at the moment. It takes us a minute to catch up to P3, but we still have plenty of time left in this race to catch up to the leaders, and we'll need it. They have sprinted away, but we go for the move down the inside, and we'll take P3 at the end of the 3rd lap at the halfway mark in the race. We move on then to the final lap of the race, and it takes us this whole time just to catch up to the leaders, and we don't have much time to actually get these overtakes done, so we do need to get a move on here. Along this next little straight we'll be able to get one of those overtakes done up into 2nd position, just the race leader ahead as we work our way through the left-hander to the end of the middle sector, and purple there as well, so still generating good lap speed as we make our way around the outside. No way to get through there though, and now up towards the final couple of corners we have the momentum building. We're going to go for the moves to the inside, and we'll get the job done and move ourselves up into the race lead very late there, and with just one corner to spare we find our way up to 1st, and we'll bring it around. Oh, we almost got re-overtaken there, but we'll come across the line to take the victory. And yeah, that is a job done here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. That was a pretty tough one, but the Lamborghini, always a nice VGT to drive. Just a crazy looking machine. But anyway, we have another menu book to take a look at now, and the final one of the video. And we're going to do this one here, the Aston Martin menu book. Congratulations, you've got all 3 cars. This completes your Aston Martin collection. Once you've collected your presents, I've got some stories to tell you about these cars. And a nice 6-star roulette ticket reward for this one, which is very nice. So there we go, collection, Aston Martin completed. And a 6-star roulette ticket for our troubles. Of course, we already had all those cars anyway. But anyway, let's see what we can learn about these cars. Britain's most famous automaker, Aston Martin, builds luxury sports cars like no other. A company with a long history, its origin goes back to the year 1913. It was in this year that Robert Bamford and Lionel Martin founded the company Bamford & Martin. When their first sports car, Coal Scuttle, won the Aston Hill Climb in West London, the name Aston Martin was born, a nod to the site of their victory and one of the company founders. Since then, Aston Martin has poured its all into motorsport. The legendary DBR1 had countless victories, most famously at the 1959 Le Mans 24 Hours. The company rose to unparalleled heights under the post-war leadership of David Brown. So great were Brown's contributions that his initials grace the model names of Aston Martins to this day. Unveiled in 1963, the DB5 is truly representative of the company's golden age. In addition to its Superleggera body by Touring and high-performance straight-six engine, it had the endorsement of silver screen spy James Bond, making it world famous as the car from the 007 films. In the 21st century, Aston Martin's cars have set their sights on the future. A perfect example of this is the DB11 from 2016, in which honed craft meets pure innovation. The first turbocharged Aston, it came powered by a V12, as well as a V8 developed by Mercedes-AMG. This marked the beginning of Aston Martin's experimentation with F1 technology. Released alongside the DB11, this Valkyrie, collaboratively built by Red Bull Racing, is the ultimate hypercar. Featuring an all-carbon body and over 986.2 brake horsepower of power, this race-ready machine was designed to be road legal. With 110 years of history behind it, Aston Martin continues to pen luxury sports cars that are the envy of all. Alrighty then, well, why is it called brake horsepower when you use it to accelerate? Anyway, that's that done. We of course now have a shiny 6-star roulette ticket we can cash in. So yeah, we'll head over back to the little roulette ticket spinneroony machine and see what we get. As it's all engines, so it's going to be an engine swap of some variety. So we'll see what it is, and it is going to be the engine from the Suzuki Escudo. Far out, that is a stupidly powerful engine. I don't know what we can put that in, but we move on then to the next race, the next car, and this one is going to be the Nissan GTR GT3 2018, a car that's already in the game. However, there is a new livery for it, which you would obtain by watching the trailer to the Gran Turismo movie. So I did that, and now we have this new livery for the GTR. So yeah, it's I guess like a limited time thing that's well in the past now. But anyway, yeah, it's fairly I'd say fairly simple livery. It's nothing special, but it's cool enough, and a little bit different to the standard Schultz livery that is on the car, which is basically just based on the 2013 GTR, which is also in the game. But anyway, yeah, we are going to take on the next race in this car, and it is another World Touring Car 800 race at High Speed Ring. So yeah, we'll head over to High Speed Ring and see how this goes. Interesting. I don't think I've ever done a race of Group 3 cars or anything like this at High Speed Ring before, so it's going to be interesting as we get rolling, starting all the way back in P20, and it is a 20 lap race, so plenty of work to do here as we get underway. We move on all the way to the end of the first lap just to get our first overtake in, moving up into 19th position now. But yeah, it's going to be slow progress in this one, and we I guess really need to pass one car a lap to get to the front. So you know, we're just barely on target after the first lap. But of course, the cars at the front, who knows, they might be going, you know, faster than the cars back here. They probably are, in which case we're in trouble. Regardless, there's also some weather on the radar as we make the move down the inside and try to move ourselves up into 18th position. Bit of a drag race over the cable-stayed bridge, and we get the move done as we head into the right-hander, trying to cut down to the apex there. Didn't quite work, but we're up into 18th position as the rain is approaching. So yeah, if we play our cards right in regards to the weather, we could gain a bit of time there as well, which could definitely help us. Anyway, we've got the Ferrari in front of us now. We're going to go over the move down the inside and move ourselves up into 17th position with a few cars battling away just up the road as well, as the rain is approaching closer and closer at the moment. So just keep an eye on that as well, as we have a great run here as the cars ahead too busy squabbling away with each other, and that's gifted us two easy positions as we head over the cable stay bridge once more into the middle sector S-bend, and there's another position to be gained quite soon here if we can gain just a little bit more time. We continue on, and we've got another little battle pack in front of us. We get past the Viper, who has just recently dropped behind the M6 that we've been chasing for a while now, and the Viper full send down the inside. We'll switch it back and get the re-overtake done, as we not quite actually switch back again, and now we'll have another go at it, sliding into the tunnel though, and that's going to cost us a heap of time. And now as we look at the weather radar once more, that rain is coming over, and I do wonder if it's time to pit and put the intermediate tyres on, because once that weather hits, it is going to be very bad. But we're going to continue on for now. The very next lap though, the track is starting to get a little bit wet now, so we'll come into the pits, and yeah, we will get a new set of tyres and refuel the tank. Looks like it's going to be a two-stop race at best, given the tyres and fuel we have available and what we've used so far. So yeah, it's quite high tyre wear, very high fuel consumption here, and yeah, it's going to be you know, we used more than half a tank in just 5 laps. We'll save a little bit while it's raining, but yeah, we'll see what happens next. We've dropped back into last place after that stop, but I think everyone else will be coming in very soon. So we continue to race on then, and as you can see from the off-board shot, the weather is further degrading at the moment, and a lot of spray coming off the tyres. At the moment we're still running down in last position, no one else switching to the intermediate tyres just yet. So yeah, we could gain some pretty significant time here if we can keep things under control and use these wet weather tyres to our advantage at this stage of the race. And you can see we are catching up to someone here. I think it's the Alfa Romeo, and we are gaining time rather rapidly versus them as we make our way around the outside nicely there and move ourselves up into P19 as we head into the tunnel. Back on board then, you can see race leaders are in to the pits, and everyone else will soon be following suit. So we have definitely gained an advantage, and oh my goodness, so many cars on the inside line there going very slowly as we make our way around the outside, and we've moved up into well, it'll be a lot higher by the time we get to the exit of pit lane, and we've moved ourselves all the way up into 3rd position now. So that bit of strategy work there to pit a little bit earlier than everyone else has paid massive dividends for us, and we are now in the fight well and truly at the front of the field, and we might actually be able to take another position here around the outside into 2nd position. Almost the Porsche trying to give us a good fight along the cable-stayed bridge, but we'll manage to get that move done, and now only the race leader in front of us, and it surely won't be too long before we can get this move done. Looks like we've got some good pace in the rain, so we just need to line up and overtake as we head into the tunnel once more. The final corner should be a good opportunity for us to get through to the race lead if we can carry the momentum well, as we're going to try and take a nice high line to use the banking and carry the speed all the way around. And we've got the overlap on the outside using all the millimeters there, and we make the move on the straight, got the momentum on the exit. We've got the move done into the race lead for now at least, but there's still a long way to go in this one. But right now we've done the job. We just need to keep pushing to the end, and hope that we've got enough once the track dries up again towards the end of the race. As we continue on, a couple of laps later though, we are still well and truly under pressure and have not been able to get away, and in fact we're going to lose the race lead here, and we'll see if we can hold on to it or make the re-overtaking move rather into turn 2. But right now we just don't seem to have the outright pace as we go for the move back down the inside, and we go for a little bit of an aggressive lunge there, but we get the move done back into the race lead one nonetheless. So yeah, it's going to be one we're going to have to fight for. Like I said, so much of this race is just going to be about the straight line speed of the cars, and yeah, it seems like we are just barely missing out on some top end speed versus the Lexus RCF, which I think in these World Touring Car 800 races, they're not standard Group 3 cars or GT3 cars. I think they are upgraded, whereas my car is actually standard. I didn't do anything to it, so that could explain why we're missing a little bit in the top end, but could just be the natural differences between the cars as well, I'm not sure. But either way, we are under pressure from the car behind. As we continue on though, we do manage to pull away a little bit, and then we come into the pit lane both for tyres and fuel. They're both not looking too great at the moment. So yeah, this will be our last stop of the race. Only a few laps to go in this one. We're 3/4 of the way through. So yeah, we just need to keep pushing on, and you know, I think we're in a good position here. Everyone else will of course also need to come in and put the dry tyres on, so yeah, I think relatively we're doing okay, but we've dropped into 4th position, and yeah, there are 5 laps to go, so let's just keep pushing and try and get back to the lead. Moving on to the end of the lap, we do start to catch those couple of cars that are still yet to stop, and you can see the difference in you know, some slick tyres versus the wet weather tyres that are well past their use by date at this point. Once again, a little bit of contact on the exit of a left-hander with the Porsche, but anyway, we're up into 2nd position now, just 1 car left in front of us yet to make their final stop. But soon enough they will do so at the end of lap 17, and that will leave us in the race lead going to the end. So yeah, the wet weather phase of this race has worked really well for us, and yeah, both pit stop phases we've managed to, in particular the first one, you know, gain positions, and yeah, we're pretty much just racing to the end now. We just need to watch out for the wet surfaces that are still on the circuit. So we now move on to the final lap of the race, and got a little bit of lap traffic in front of us now, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. We just need to you know, keep things nice and tidy throughout to this final lap, and we should have it all under control. So yeah, this was a really fun race actually. These cars work well around high speed ring, they race well against each other. We had a good little battle with the Lexus RCF for a while, so yeah, that was kind of interesting actually, because you know, usually when racing against AI in Gran Turismo, it tends just to be, you know, drive from last to first, not actually you know, fighting for position really. So yeah, that was actually very cool to be able to do that as we bring it round the final corner now. And after a pretty long race, 20 laps of high speed ring, it is going to be a race victory here for us at the World Touring Car 800 event at High Speed Ring. In the GTR, the new livery added for the Gran Turismo movie. Very nice. There we have it then. That is the last new thing in the update that we've now completed. Actually, not quite. We have a 6-star roulette ticket and something else that we got as a little reward for watching one of the Gran Turismo World Series events things a while ago. It was an incentive thing, I suppose. We get the Pagani Huayra engine from the roulette ticket, but the other thing we get is an ambulance, the Toyota Hi-Medic. So this is a thing now. This is probably one of the most out there cars, I suppose, that has been added to the game recently, or at all, in fact. You know, Gran Turismo 7, it doesn't have anything too crazy. Oh yeah, and the ambulance speaks Japanese as well. But yeah, it doesn't have anything, you know, there's no like Jay Leno tank car that was in, you know, previous Gran Turismo games, or, you know, it doesn't have any cars that are too ridiculous, but yeah, an ambulance is definitely something new for the series. I don't think any of the previous games, from what I recall, have had an ambulance before, and it barely even fits on that little road in the Escapes movie clip there. But anyway, it's not small, weighs 2.8 tons, so yeah, it's big. It's probably, I'd say without a doubt, the biggest car in a Gran Turismo. So we head over to Bathurst, and we're going to give this thing a little test drive. It says a number of different things when you either flash the headlights or use the blinkers or hazard lights, so I'll flick through all those now. So that was flashing the headlights, right blinker, left blinker, hazard lights on and hazard lights off in that order. We've also got the siren, and it does have a horn as well. There's a lot of controls for this to access all the different little sounds that come with it. For the siren, it's if you press the horn button once quickly, it turns on this sort of ding-dong siren that you're hearing now. And then while this is going, you can hold down the horn button to get that kind of siren. But anyway, yeah, it's a complicated set of controls. But anyway, as we're trying to sandwich between these other two ambulances, an ambulance race might be the most dangerous kind of racing, as we're flashing the headlights. They're really struggling to get up the hill. Trying to drag the 2.5 tons of ambulance up the mountain is apparently quite difficult for an engine with, I think it's got 150 something horsepower, I think it said, so it's not a small amount, but yeah, with a car this heavy, I suppose you might need a little bit more than that to be able to climb the hill without losing too much speed. But anyway, unfortunately with the ambulance and with a couple of other cars as well, when you set up a custom race, you can't choose to race against anything else other than just more ambulances. I don't really know why, especially with the ambulance, but holy moly, we're having a drifting competition up here now. But yeah, it's just the way it is. So that's why it's a full field of ambulances here at Bathurst. So yeah, we work our way now down through Forest Elbow. We've made our way up into 13th position so far, but I'm not exactly treating this as a race. I'm just cruising around pressing buttons and all sorts of stuff. I'm curious what kind of top speed we can get to on Conrod Straight. Almost 150 kilometers an hour, but not quite there. Then we get to the uphill section and the speed just drops. So yeah, it really doesn't like going uphill. There's 150. So yeah, it's not quick, but I suppose for an ambulance that's usually driving on roads, that's all the speed it needs as we make the move down the inside, and we're up into 8th position now. So yeah, that I think is just about going to do it for this one. We're not going to follow this race all the way to the end because it's going to take absolutely forever, even just to do 3 laps. But before we finish, I will just point this out, that thing I noticed on the replay. All of the flashing lights on all the different ambulances are perfectly in sync. Not sure why that is. I guess they're just all on the same loop and they all started at exactly the same time, so they just stay synchronized. But that is quite something. That's really funny. You probably might need to pause the video to fully notice it. But yeah, that's just a little thing I noticed before we finish off. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one. So I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. And other than that, I will see you in the next one, and goodbye.